We now have details regarding an active shooting call at the Brunswick boat plant, Lund boat plant in New York Mills last Thursday morning. David Gadsden of Henning is facing criminal charges. The male victim in this case is lucky to be alive. He wasn't injured after a bullet tore a 6-inch hole in his shirt, completely missing his body. This from the criminal complaint. Quote, on February 9th at 7:21 a.m., Otter Tail County Sheriff's Office received a report of an active shooter at the Brunswick Boat Factory in New York Mills. Deputy on the scene talked to the male victim, who explained that he was working on a boat hull and had a question on how to complete his job, and asked another employee, the defendant, Gadsden, about the assignment. Gadsden became angry and yelled at him. The victim turned away and asked another employee about his assignment. Gadsden got angrier and more frustrated after the employee answered his question. That employee approached Gadsden and asked what was wrong. Gadsden then pulled out a handgun from his right waistband and pointed it at the victim. The victim described the handgun as a 9mm semi-automatic, black or gray in color. After pulling the handgun from his waistband, Gadsden moved the slide back and charged the weapon. He moved toward the victim, and the victim began to move away within the work area. He went through a narrow pathway, and the defendant followed him through the pathway and continued to point the handgun at him. The defendant pushed a cart in the pathway at the defendant and moved toward the exit door. During this time, Gadsden allegedly fired a shot at him. Once outside the building, the victim ran to the west, and Gadsden fired a second round at him. The victim stated he was not injured, but believed that he was struck by one of the shots. The detective observed a large 6-inch hole in the side of his shirt area of his ribs. The victim explained that he had known Gadsden since he had started at the factory. He thought he had worked there about a year. He indicated they are not friends and have only spoken a few times and have been in a couple verbal confrontations over the past few months. He did not know why Gadsden would shoot him. The detective then met with other investigators who collected evidence at the scene. They recovered a bullet casing from the floor and a bullet hole in a partially assembled bolt. They were both found on the opposite side of the hallway from where the victim indicated the initial confrontation began, and in close proximity to the cart described by the victim. The trajectory of the bullet that went through the partially assembled boat was in the victim's work area toward the exit door. Detectives met with Gadsden at the jail. He was read his Miranda warning, but declined to provide a statement. David Gadsden of Henning, Minnesota, is facing charges of attempted murder in the second degree, assault with a dangerous weapon, dangerous weapons, initial intentional discharge of a firearm that endangers safety, and carry or possess a pistol without a permit in a public place. I'm Neil Carlson reporting for iNewZ.TV.